What's up, everyone? Christian Duke, StrengthAddicts.com with the two Bryans. We got Brian Hoydic and Brian Warner, both IFBB pros. And Brian Warner, how are you today?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Very good. I normally don't ask people how are they doing with their first and last name, but let's just go with it. So last year, you won your pro card here at the North Americans. This year, you're doing the Pittsburgh Pro Masters and you get top 5. What does that feel like?
It feels great to be able to compete against athletes from to such a level and then make top 5. You know, we're going to come back stronger the next one, but it feels great.
Fantastic. And one of the things that you said when I had asked you off camera how long you worked with Brian, you said that you'd been with him for about 2 years, I believe, but you said you got your pro card in 11 months.
Yeah, 4 shows, and Brian took me to the promise, and they got me a pro card in 11 months.
And see, I mean, Brian, again, like, you know, all the talk and, you know, all the pettiness aside that sometimes is in the industry pertaining to coaches and whatnot, action talks, man. I mean, you've got the pro cards, you've got the top placings. I mean, there's no coincidence about that. So what can you tell us about working with Brian here? And what can you tell us about just like TC Muscle being on fire here at the North American Championships?
Well, I can tell you, I was looking at my list the other day, and I'm going down the list, and I'm like, oh, he's winning. Oh, she's winning. He's winning. You know what I mean? I was like looking at this list, and I was like, wow, I think everybody on the list is going to do well. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I didn't think they were all going to win, but I knew they were all in a good place where they could do well. You know what I mean? So, you know, I was excited about this time coming here. So,
absolutely.
And working with him's good. He's just, you know, he's laid back, rolls with the punches kind of guy, does what he's supposed to do. You know, I would like him to check in a little bit more, but, you know, one day I'll just be working out and he'll just pop up like, hey, couldn't take a look.
Brian, I hope you got that very subtle nudge from the coach there for you to check in more often.
He tells me that all the time. He's my guy.
And I got to tell you something, you're very fortunate also because you got your coach local, because Brian and Brian are both Cleveland based. Now, Brian, you also do online coaching and you got people all around the country. Talk to us a little bit about that, because I know people are going to see how successful TC Muscle's been here at the North American Championships and may want to work with you, but they may not be in Cleveland.
Yeah, I mean, to me, you don't have to be right, you know, in close proximity, but the closer you are, the better you're going to do. The more I can see you, you know, the more hands-on you are, you know, to be truthful, the better you're going to do. But I have lots of people getting pro cards and lots of people doing well that are not around me, you know. So
there you go.
It's following the plan and using my experience to your advantage is what works best.
There you go. And if you guys really want to work with Brian, he'll work with you, and I think you could save a little bit of money. Don't go to the clubs, like, you know, save some money on the groceries and get yourself on a plane and go to Cleveland as much as possible and check in that way.
I get a lot of people that do that. You'd be surprised.
Absolutely.
I mean, serious people are just like, yeah, I want to come out next weekend and I'm going to get a plane, I'm going to get a hotel and work out with you on the weekend. I'm like, all right. That's how I know who's serious and who isn't, though, for
exactly.
That kind of stuff.
And that adjective that you keep using, serious. I mean, people, and Brian will attest to this as well, I'm sure, people that are serious about getting their IFBB Pro League Pro card, that want to get on that pro stage, that want to take their career to the next level, that's serious. So if you got to cut some corners and, you know, you buy store brand at the grocery, maybe you don't go out so often, whatever it takes, but if you can fly out to Cleveland and be, you know, assessed by you, it's worth it. Brian Warner, talk to us about a little bit about getting on the stage here and the depth of the lineups, because I was, you know, I got to be honest with you, men's physique and classic, it was from one side of the stage to the other, and the depth was just jaw-dropping here.
Yeah, so every time I do a show, I always come in with the mentality that I'm not going to just look at people and think like, oh, and question. But when I saw people here today, I knew that it was a great lineup. A lot of great physiques turned out, and I was just glad to be a part of it and be able to make top 5.
Yeah, and these guys are over 50 looking like this. You know, he's 53. So
53, that's right.
You know, so you got these guys getting better as they get older in some cases.
Right.
You know, so you know, I've seen guys at their best, like Greg Krause, 65 years old.
He looked awesome.
Yeah, he looked his best. So you know,
totally awesome. And one quick thing about that, you know, we're talking about Greg Krause, co-promoter of the NPC North Coast Championships, who is also a contest prep coach. And one of the things he said in his interview today is that when he worked with Brian, he let Brian be in the driver's seat of his prep. And he said that he noticed that a lot of the things that Brian was having him do were things that he did with his clients, and he noted that Brian has a very old school character about how he does things.
I do.
And that's not something that a lot of these new gurus have, gurus in quotation marks, of course.
Right.
And the only other thing I wanted to say too was that off camera, the two Brians and myself, we talked about Brian Warner's age several times. And Brian looks so good that's one of the things I forgot to bring up. 53 years old. Insane. Social media for you guys. Good segue there, huh?
Yeah, it's Fit and 50 something. Instagram. Fit
there you go. And that's another thing. You guys are Masters competitors, and you're actually putting it in your screen names. It's almost as if you want the world to know, look, this is how old I am, this is how I look, you try to do it, and I love it. I love
it. The men do that, the women don't.
Good stuff. And then, of course, Brian Hoydic on Instagram as well.
Yep, I have to be pro, Brian Hoydic, I have to be pro.
There you go, guys. So for Brian Hoydic, for Brian Warner, this is Christian Duke, StrengthAddicts.com, and of course, TC Muscle on fire here in Pittsburgh, PA, where champions are made.